So today we're going to talk about a topic that has a lot of power, not just in the video game world, but in the entire world in general. Now, slut, right? That's a word that we're going to be focusing on for this video, and slut shaming. Now, I know that's an abrasive way to begin this video, but I definitely want to bring attention to that word. Let's dive into this one, and just a heads up for you. I know that this topic is very controversial, or it may be controversial to you. Understand that these are my opinions, right? If you don't agree, that is completely fine, but these are my opinions, right? I want to stress that because some people may not agree with me, and if you don't agree with me, that's fine. Leave a comment down below, tell me how much you hate the thought process that I have going on in my head. Leave a comment below telling me how stupid I am, how pathetic I am, how sexist I am, how whatever you want to say. Leave a comment down below, but pay attention to the video first, okay? That's all I'm going to say. Let's get back into this now, right? It appears that the women of Twitch, they're trying to fight to take back the word slut, to steal its power, right? To stop it from being used to shame women. And while I agree that the word slut and slut shame, these words are used way too often for things that honestly men are just as guilty of doing, there's a double standard, right? And there has been for decades, for centuries. I'm sure that there have been this double standard has existed since basically the dawn of time. I agree with you. But now Twitch streamer CaseyTron, someone known for trying to, as she says, poke fun at the idea of being a slut or being shamed for being one, is trying to bring attention to this topic, and to be honest, I think that that's pretty huge, right? Now, this whole slut stream day started because women, girls, ladies, whatever you want to call yourselves, right? They're being harassed in places like schools for wearing the wrong attire that, makes them a distraction. That's an air quote, right? In schools, because they violate the dress code that's been imposed on them. Oh boy, the tyranny. When people create rules and you refuse to obey them because you've been told that doing so is a distraction, that's horrible. I feel like, this has to stem from this idea of male misogyny. But again, I'm not getting into that. I'm not focusing on feminism or male misogyny or sexism or any of that today. Today, what we're going to be looking at is what the slut stream really calls attention to, and that's online harassment, right? Online harassment in the gaming community. Or the notion that women who are attractive only dress provocatively or sexy in order to get their views up, right? And I sincerely hope that a lot of you ladies or women or girls didn't click off when I was addressing the school concept, because that's 100% not what this is about, right? This is actually a video in defense of women who are harassed online, who are harassed in places where they shouldn't be, because I think that we definitely need to bring attention to these kinds of things from happening. And I'm just going to say this now. Does that mean that you don't need to follow, school rules or things like that? No, it doesn't mean that at all, right? No matter why the rules are in place, and yes, I completely understand that you hate being made to feel like your beauty is a curse, right? I understand that completely. But some places, sometimes there are rules in effect, and until those rules change, those are the rules that we have to adhere to. There are ways to call attention to these things, and this is one of those ways, right? And that's why I love this idea of a slut stream, right? And look, don't get me wrong, I hate the title of the day, but I love the idea behind it. And the thing is, we all know that it happens, right? Girls who start to become really good at video games, start to beat men in games like Call of Duty or Mortal Kombat or anything like that, they start to cop this abuse and this hate and this just annoying terminology that's used against them, specifically because guys hate losing to a woman, right? And look, I'm going to say this now as well, it's not all men, right? Because it can't be all men. There's no way it's all men. I've seen video after video where men are defending the women who are getting, stuff hurled at them for no reason but because they're good, right? But I'm sure that it's enough men for women that need to create something like this to bring attention to that. And look, before we do get any further, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that this is not an attack on my own gender. This is not an attack on men or boys or young adult male adolescents, whatever you want to call it. This is not an attack on them, right? This is the furthest thing from it. This is an attack on harassment itself, which means that it has to go for everybody, right? And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, in case you're wondering, females don't just get harassed by men or slut shamed by men. They get harassed and shamed by other ladies, other girls, other whatever you want to call them, that they know, And in some cases, they probably think that these are friends of them or family to them, right? But obviously, that's not the case. So doing something like this, something that brings attention to something that is pivotal, is great. I actually love it. It's better than great, to be honest with you. And I think that things like this need to be lit up from every direction. We need to show, just really bring a spotlight onto avenues like this. Now, again, I'll be clear. I am not a feminist. In fact, I am probably the furthest thing from a feminist. I can't even say the word. That's how much I'm not a feminist. And I think that harassment, in every form, right? And again, every form meaning harassment for men, harassment for women, it needs to be highlighted so that we understand the psychological dangers that these things have, especially in terms of gaming. This is, like I said, both men and women. And let's be fair, right? I have nothing against friendly ribbing or having a joke amongst friends, but things like slut shaming or online bullying extend well beyond the confines of friends just joking around with each other, right? And I think that if you're listening to this, you know that already. And I think that's why this is a very important thing to discuss. You see, online harassment for women is one portion of a much larger picture. And while I think we definitely need to focus on this for women or girls as a collective, and this Slutstream Day is something that's required to highlight aspects like these and to highlight how crazy it can be for women. So I definitely think that the Slutstream Day should focus on women. So I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny girls or women or ladies that avenue of exposure. And I hope that any women listening to this, they won't deny that at least some small portion of their viewership, at least some tiny portion, especially if you're attractive, comes from desperate, lonely gamer guys, right? Who may or may not play video games, but he's still some lonely bloke and he just wants to see a beautiful woman who may share his opinions or values or something that he wants to know, something that he wants to learn about, and he'd rather watch it from a beautiful woman than some ugly bloke, right? And please don't try to deny that this happens. It has to happen. Okay, if it's a possible thought process or something that I could think up, then you know it has to happen, right? And this is potentially a portion. I'm not saying that it's your entire viewership, by the way, and I'm not saying that women who run streams like this that are beautiful, that look good, that their whole viewership is men that are desperate and lonely. I actually think that there are a lot of people who respect what you guys do, who respect what you guys think about, and who want to see you genuinely, to see your content, because they either think maybe you're funny, you're interesting, you're smart, you're whatever, right? So I'm not saying this to basically say that your entire viewership is these kind of blokes, but I am saying that some small group, no matter how big, no matter how small you think they are, there's got to be a group that's only watching you because you look good, okay? And that's men. 100% that's got to be men. Maybe there's some women too, I'm not sure, but I'm just throwing that out there. There has to be a small portion for beautiful women that are watching because you're a beautiful woman, okay? Now, does that invalidate the opinions that you have or what you're doing? No. Does it mean that you deserve to be harassed online? No. Does it mean you deserve to be called a slut because you have people who watch you just so they can possibly see you in something provocative? No. None of this is what I'm saying at all, right? So let's just accept that fact and let's move forward. And then we can begin to look at this and how it seems to happen apparently more on Twitch from what I can see. And if you saw my video yesterday, you understand that there is sort of elements, I guess, of sexism, maybe not, who knows. But I don't understand why it happens more on Twitch, but whatever. Twitch seems to have its own can of worms open, and they have their own policies that they need to create and respond to and all of these things. That's something completely different. And I mean, there are some things that are not even done equally across the board, right? Take for instance Alinity, and yes, this had to come up at some point. This was coming. Let's not pretend, right? She's a streamer who basically treats her cat like trash. Now, I'm sure she loves her cat, but come on, right? And animal cruelty, in effect, is something that we should be focusing on and not allowing on stream, and not allowing on something that have thousands of viewers paying attention to this and thinking and normalizing the idea of animal cruelty, even if the cat was fine, right, afterwards, even if there was no problems. Would the reaction have been the same if that was a puppy? If that was a small dog and she threw it? Now, we know that cats generally land on their feet, but do puppies? Right? Or if it was some other creature. No. It was something crazy like this that didn't receive punishment, that had streamers of the variety with male genitalia, especially, thinking that maybe, just maybe, there was a potentially skewed set of rules that worked in favor of the female gender in this kind of case. Then, she gave her cat a vodka kiss. Now, people were understandably outraged, and yet Twitch did nothing. And let's be very clear about this fact here, guys and girls. Vodka for people is fine. If you have too much, you might wake up with a hangover, sure, right? But you'll likely be fine. Vodka for cats, not so fine. In fact, it can be toxic. Now, this is blatant animal harm, and yet she's given, what, a free pass because she's pretty? So the rules are obviously not equal in some respects, okay? Now, I'm not blaming women for that. Actually, I blame Twitch for that specific case and this conundrum. I really think that they have a responsibility to set out, proper guidelines regarding what can and cannot be done. And each time someone finds a loophole, sure, that happens, they may need to do a little bit more work. But I think that they need to amend their rules to ensure that no one else can bend or break rules like this in these ways, right? Now, this issue here comes down to those monitoring places like Twitch. But look, I think somehow I actually went way off track here. We're talking about this slut stream, so let's get back to that one, which is something that I actually do agree with, and I think that it needs more support. So I think that we need to shed a light on the actions of anyone who harasses or bullies other people, right? Not just because of their gender, but because maybe they're a sore loser, or because they don't like that they're not getting the same amount of attention. I definitely think that it's about time we talk about stuff like this more openly and have more dialogues about this and more discussions about this. And that means that guys shouldn't be afraid to have their opinion, an opinion like this one, out in the open. And that means that girls shouldn't be afraid to speak up if they feel like they're being harassed or bullied. Perhaps, and I say perhaps because while some people think harassment is clear, those, air quote, harassing them may not know that they feel this way, that the person who's being harassed feels like they're being harassed. And no, that is not a cop-out in any sense of the word, right? Before you're quick to say anything like this, it's a fact, right? Sometimes one person says something as a joke and the other person takes it seriously. This happens, it's a consistent process, and yet we fail. We fail to note that it actually does happen, okay? So now I'm going to make sure that this video doesn't go for too much longer, and I'm going to turn this to you guys. And the question, this is a simple one today, right? Have you ever in your life been a victim of harassment or bullying? And what do you think that Twitch can do to actually pinpoint this or stop it from happening, right? Now, here's actually, I've got another question for you guys. Is it even possible to stop online harassment or bullying? Or basically, because this is based on perception and feelings, that these things, harassment and bullying, will continue to happen forever, no matter what we do and no matter how we try and provide a guide for how we conduct ourselves online. Let me know what you guys think down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And you know what, if you did like this video, or if you didn't like this video, you've gotten to the end, right? So don't just click away. Let me know what you actually think. I'm genuinely curious to know what you guys think, what your opinion on this is, and how you feel about this entire topic as a whole. Otherwise, if you haven't already, please check out some other content on the channel. Again, if you enjoyed this video, you may like that content, those other videos, so definitely don't forget to do that. Click subscribe, click the like. I've gone through all of this already. Now I'm just going on. Spread some peace, guys, spread some love. Until next time, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.